Hmm. Oh, hello there. Hi. Welcome back to the Dapper Dividends Happy Hour, where we're happy to have you along for the ride. It's very, very pleasurable that you're here. That's a spicy meatball. What's going on? I'm reading The Quality of Earnings by Thornton O'Glove. This book came out in the home. This book came out in 1987, and it's going to teach me to be a better analyst of earnings reports and how to look for quality earnings because, hey, that's what we need to do around here. We can be better. If I can change, then you could change. We all could change. I think that's what Mr. Rocky Balboa said, wasn't it? Wow, what a crazy week we've had. Who would have thunk it that the markets just rip, rock, roared, ripped your faces off? I don't know. Bitcoin's over 80,000. I was thinking as I was, you know what, everybody? It's been a busy, busy week for this guy. Been a busy little bee and a busy little beaver. My mouth doesn't smell like beaver, but it's been a busy little beaver. I changed after working yesterday and today, changed the brakes and rotors on the 2011 Acadia that were given to our kids. And yeah, it was kind of cool. I don't know. It's a little cathartic. Saved ourselves some money. AutoZone, ticker AZN, right? Had a little brake pad and rotor special, brake job special. So, hey, Pat. Oh, I guess I should introduce myself. What's up? I am Russ from Dapper Dividends and this little thing we do here. And we love investing. I love talking about it. Obviously, most of you know that I'm a welder, blue collar as they come, and wanted to improve things circa 2018. Just had a whim that I thought I would start investing in the stock market. Figured it would probably take me about 6 months to a year to really get the hang of it. And then I could quit my job. Didn't happen. I started with penny stocks, went to swing trading. A lot of you know the story, but oh God, Billy, best show in town. Come on. I will shout out as I said in the podcast, Professor Aswath Damodaran has said the greatest sin that an educator can make is to be boring. And I completely agree with that. So, hey, I may not always be the smartest guy in the room, but hopefully that I'm talking to you like I would if you were just sitting here in front of me. Okay. Maybe I'm turned up a little bit to 11, but don't want to be boring. But, and I don't want to keep saying that. Damn. I hear myself saying it. When people don't do a lot of speaking and listening back to themselves, I listened to an interview with a singer, Alex. I forget his last name. He's from the band Cancer Slug, and oh my goodness, in the interview with him, he said like maybe 400 or 500 times. It was ridiculous. So that's my humble. Anyway, what's going on? What do you guys think of this whole election thing? I'm sure there's some happy people, some sad people. I don't really mind. You know, honestly, I'll just tell you right now, I didn't even vote because the last few elections I voted third party. I voted for the libertarian candidate, and it's basically just a wasted vote. We have two parties in this country, for better or worse. And hey, you know what? That's the way it goes. I'm tired of fighting it. I guess I not maybe if you can't beat them, join them type of thing. But I guess that it's probably around the time I started investing in the stock market. I know you guys, I've told you how I got tired of arguing with both Republicans and Democrats because I fancied myself a libertarian. And it just got, it was tiring. It was non productive. Nobody's mind was being changed. And I just enjoy investing more. I have way more control over what I put my money into. Like, I'm thinking of finally starting a position into ticker YOU, Clear Secure. I know I did that video on it. Mr. Ryan Williams, I know some of you don't like when I bring up his name, but hey, it's a friend. We talk often and we bounce ideas off of each other. But he's a community member, so whatever. The one comment, I don't even know if anybody's watching or if the person's watching who said that, but what do you want? You know, don't watch then, I guess, if every once in a while I bring up the name of Ryan Williams. So, Clear Secure, Very interesting company. I mean, if you want, we can look at it. A lot of news to get to. So please, Steve, if you're on, Steve, don't let me forget. I don't see your name there. Yeah, a lot of you. I love it. Make garbage great again. Oh, yeah, Whiskey Tango LNT took a beating. Honestly, if we had more peace and Lockheed's stock dropped, I'm all for it. Baby, you can't put a premium on peace. I would pay up for that. I would gladly pay up for peace. Uh, Next Star Media, talk about taking a beating. They dropped their earnings on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they dropped their earnings. Stock rose to like 191. They had record revenue. They were a little bit light on earnings. They missed earnings, but it just seemed okay. Holy cow! On Friday, no, it was Thursday. Thursday, I'm sorry. Thursday they released earnings, and the stock was up. Friday they dropped 13, 14% at one point. They were down. I think it's an overreaction. I still don't fully understand why the market just crushed them so badly, but this is something that can happen when there's they have a low float. There's only like 33 million shares outstanding that they've been rapidly buying back, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm still ahead. I still have a covered call that expires this Friday, and it was the damnedest thing. If you guys remember, I sold the covered call. It was a $185 strike, and if you don't know, meaning that 100 of my Next Star shares, I told somebody you can buy these for $185 with the expiration date of November 14th or 15th, whatever this coming Friday is, the 15th, I think. Yeah, it's the 15th because the 16th is Saturday. And why do I know that's Saturday? Hey, I'm going to be in South Bend, Indiana, watching the Notre Dame Fighting Irish take on the, I think, Virginia Cavaliers. Is it the University of Virginia or Virginia Tech? I don't even remember. Honestly, it's almost like Notre Dame versus everybody. I don't care. I just enjoy going. We're going to tailgate, watch the game. It's going to be beautiful weather. So that's Saturday. But the 15th, this covered call contract I had sold for $450 or $4.50 a share times 100. It rapidly dropped. It was all the way down at one point to about 43 or $44. I could have bought it back after their earnings and the Trump win. It went up to almost $600. And I was thinking, I'm not going to buy it back. I'm not. And then by Friday, it was right back down to $50 a share or something. Just anyway, let's get into your comments. I just ramble. And Bose, I was thinking of you, man, when you talked about your country, where you're from. And I want to say the Netherlands, right? How you have 11, 12, 13 political parties and a fraction of the people that we do here in the United States. And I think that is just great. And honestly, for somebody that doesn't have a dog in the fight, I was pretty upset to see that it looked like a red wave was coming. If that offends you, I'm so sorry. But I like it when there's gridlock at the federal level, because here in the United States, if you're not familiar, our federal government is, I don't want to give a civics lesson, but our federal government is supposed to be limited with 3 co-equal branches of government, and their few powers are defined in the Constitution and the amendments. And that's it. They're not supposed to do anything out of that purview. And then everything else, I think via the 10th Amendment, is basically retained to the states. So you want the states. I think the way they set it up, pretty brilliant guys, the founders, you guys know I like history, is that you wanted the most amount of control, or I shouldn't say control, but the greatest amount of power should have been concentrated right close to you where you lived. In case there was a problem, you could go to the governor's house, right? You can partition a redress of grievances outside of the local magistrate, whatever it was. But when it's in the far off land of Mordor on the Potomac, baby, that's a lot harder to get things changed. So it's kind of gravitated that way. And I don't know, we're not going to solve it tonight, but yeah, dude, you're right, man. They didn't trust the average Joe, but they did. because they wanted the average Joe to have more of a say. Yeah, I know. And then women couldn't vote, and people of color couldn't vote. So what did Winston Churchill say? Talking about this form of government is the worst one, but it's the best of the ones we know, or something like that. You can just call me the butcher. I'm really good at butchering quotes. Um, yeah, so let me go back to the top here, make sure there's nothing. John, if I don't remember triple N, let's look at it. It's I do think I looked at them once a little bit in depth, and what turned me off. And Jacob, what's up, Jacob? I don't know if we've chatted before. Let me know, but don't they have a really big exposure to movie theaters, right? To cinema? And that kind of worried me, because talk about a dying industry. All right, let's fly through these. We're gonna fly like a F-16 that Lockheed built. Did they build the F-16? I think it might have been the F-15. Am I diversifying my REITs between Rexford, Vici? I don't own RXR. I'm assuming you mean Rexford. Triple N, any others? Yeah, actually, I've just been buying Vici, and I actually started. If you watch the video, I bought 5 more shares of Realty Income this week, and yeah, and ADC. I'd like ADC to come down a little bit. It's funny. I talked a little bit with Ryan. What do you want me to say? We did. And he turned me on to a podcast that I completely forget the name of. I just clicked on it and it played, but it was a discussion on big tobacco from somebody that has spent, I think, a quarter century inside tobacco. And he actually said something that I've been feeling, kind of in the vein of Pulak Prasad with discounted cash flow. You got Curtis Jensen from Third Avenue Capital. He said the same thing, that discounted cash flow, meaning when you're supposed to project all the future cash flows and then discount it back to today. That's predicting the future. And like he would say, the problem with it is it's like the Hubble telescope. If you turn it a fraction of an inch, you're looking at a completely different galaxy. And then that made me think how the gentleman that had been in the tobacco industry had said, DCF calculations don't make a stock go up or down. What makes a stock go up or down is that there's more buyers than sellers. It's that simple. It doesn't matter what you calculate to be the intrinsic and true value. Just ask Warren Buffett. His all didn't work out. Looking at Dexter Shoe, if there are more buyers than sellers, the price is going to go up. If there's more sellers than buyers, price is going to go down. And it's that simple. I think we can forget some of that. So, yeah, hopefully, let's spell that right, John. We want it to be BRAKE, break. Yeah, pads and rotors. Fun. Hello, Bernard. Billy, I guess Billy's a Trump guy. We're all, I don't know, I don't want to say a safe haven here, but we can all speak like adults. Yeah, I think everybody has something interesting. Honestly, I don't know. And it's funny. Do you know where I was yesterday? Go ahead. I'll let you guess as I'm getting caught up here. So somebody that didn't vote for Trump's not my cup of tea, but I will tell you, Michael Swami's making garbage great again. Hey, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Oh, dude, this reminded me of Idiocracy. You said LMT took a baiting to President Trump not being a war hawk. I think that's clean if I can say that when, what was his name? Frito? When he would say, go away, baiting. And if you've seen the movie, you get the joke. Try to keep it kind of mostly clean here. So I will not forget to tell you where here we go. Oh, there's Russia stocks that pay amazing dividends with low Ps. I don't know how we're ever going to invest in them. And like who? One of them that's in that region, we talked about it with the uranium ETF, ticker URNM. We talked about it with Craig. I think the second biggest holding in URNM, at least the last time I looked, was Kazatomprom. And they are one of the world's biggest uranium or plutonium. No, uranium. No, you make plutonium, you mine uranium, right? You can tell I'm really up on this stuff, but they're not publicly traded in the United States. I think you would have to buy them through the LSE, the London Stock Exchange. But that's the beauty of ETFs here. Boom, you just buy the ETF, you get exposure to Kazatomprom over in the land of Borat. But yeah, that's an interesting thought. Boeing is broken. They're going to try to get things in right order. As I was saying that, Archer Daniels Midland popped into my head. I put out a post. I don't think I put it on YouTube though. Yeah, the Warren Buffett quote came to mind that usually when there's one cockroach in the kitchen, it's not the only one. And in January, they had the accounting issues, and they kind of played it off like, oh, it was one like rogue guy, one lone thing. But that's one thing I'm learning is it's almost like um, when a company cuts a dividend, unless they have a really, really, really good reason, uh, time to sell. And if there's any kind of financial shenanigans, I think it's just best to get out until we know that it's all taken care of. So Boaz, you're from Bose, like the speaker Bose from Denmark. Bose Hansen, like Hansen's energy drink, right? That used to be what Monster before it became Monster. Made in the USA is going to do better. Yes and no. I was thinking about that today when I was reading that if Trump gets his way, they said it could be a 60 to 100% on Chinese goods and a 10% tariff on everything else coming across our borders. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of tariffs. I understand people think it's protecting our industries and whatnot, but it's a tax. If people want to buy those foreign goods, they're going to have to pay more money for that. And then likewise, if we get a retaliatory tariff, try and say that, retaliatory tariff. There we go. Let me start that again. If another country throws a retaliatory tariff on us, then I was just, you see, my brain was like, slow down. I can't catch up. Yeah, then we're going to potentially ship less goods because less people will probably not want to pay more for what we're shipping over there. So I just don't think tariffs are a good idea when they're arbitrary like that, just because we think we're going to stimulate business. It could be way off base, but that's the way I see it. And you mean the government can't throw me in jail for a meme? Wait a minute. I don't know about that. Who got thrown in jail for a meme? Please do elucidate me. Yeah, I know, Kevin. I know, but it's, you know what? It ties in because politics is downstream from culture, and culture can affect how we shop, how we spend our money, right? Things like that. So I guess that I know, sorry. And of course, it's no worries, TJ. No worries. I haven't seen you before, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little tied in, maybe not. PLD. I am familiar with the business. Prologis has always seemed a little bit overvalued to me. We'll do the news in just a second, but yeah, they just seem a little overvalued. And I came close to starting a position when all the REITs were beaten down, but then again, I started buying Agree Realty. So I did not know that tobacco founded Duke University. All right. Dutch Bros. That's an interesting one. I had swing traded them when they first IPO'd, made a few bucks, and that was it. Sorry for that super loud tea slurp. Yeah, that's an interest. Now, see, this is politics that could affect how the economy runs, right? Because I think it was Warren Buffett who said interest rates are to assets just like gravity is to matter. I mean, they're intertwined. But Jerome Powell, I think is it May of 2026? I think it's March or May of 26 that his term comes to an end. But when did Congress? I think it was after in this. I don't know when they did. I know Nixon had some issues with interest rates, but the Fed is supposed to be independent from the politicians because the politicians are always thinking about getting reelected, and maybe that's not doing what could be best for the economy. So I don't know. It's just one more one more wrinkle of the government system here. And if you told me it's all corrupt, I probably wouldn't argue with you. But anyway, yeah, Trump can't just replace, is from what I learned, Mr. Jerome Powell. Never forget L. So Frank, are you talking about like the L on the train L, or Estee Lauder L? That's an interesting take, Michael. I did not. I guess I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. And I've read a few books on the depression too, so apparently I didn't pay attention. Yeah, John. So, that's what I was getting to with the tariffs, as it ties into investing. So the thing with the tariffs is that companies that, or industries that have little or no exposure to, moving goods across the border, probably going to be okay, maybe even benefit a little more. I thought REITs might, but hey, if they have tenants and the tenants are heavy into, it's all intertwined, right? I think Leonard Reed, there was an author who had like a little pen. It wasn't a book. It was called iPencil. Came out, I think, in the 50s or 60s or 70s, somewhere around there, right? That's just a 30-year swing, only a little over a quarter of a century, give or take. But yeah, it was about how nobody knows how to build a pencil. You may know what goes into a pencil, but the thing of it is, you don't know how to mine the rubber. You don't know where to locate that rubber. You don't know the metal, the ferrous, ferrule. I don't know, the metal ring that holds the eraser on, right? That metal comes from somewhere. So there had to be machines to dig it out of the ground. People had to build those machines. People had to build the parts to build the machines to dig the metal out of the ground, to transport it somewhere, to be refined, to be treated. Somebody had to, it's like he builds the idea of this. The whole world is linked, whether we like it or not, more than we think so. So that's, look at this. I've never spoken to you before. Cheers, my new friend. Your Bitcoin has exploded and it's gone up. Yes, it's over 80,000. I still don't believe in it. I still don't. Nobody's using it at a global scale. I don't know if it'll ever get there. All the silly meme coin, I don't know, the dog with hat coin, Dogecoin. A lot of these people buy them. It's kind of like South Park and the Underpants Gnomes. Remember, they wanted to steal everyone's underpants for profit, and then you looked at their plan, and it was like, step one, get the underpants. Step two was blank, and step three was profit. That's kind of where I feel it's like with the crypto. Everybody's getting the crypto. They're loading up on it. Massive profit can come from it, but what's step two? And I understand they've all gone up in value, but I don't see the actual in-demand long-term use cases for these things. But hey, things can be crazy for a long time, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I had a little bit of Bitcoin and I kept it. I wanted to get my Bitcoin dividends by keeping it at Celsius, and you know what that turned out to be. So look at the time. We'll get into the news, yeah? I think I'm almost caught up with you guys. I'm going to get caught up before I do. The news, yeah, Shamir, thanks. The Smoot-Hawley Act on Tariff. Ben Stein's lecture. Tariffs funded the U.S. government for 150 years with zero income taxes. Yeah, but could things have turned out differently? I mean, we'll never know. The world's in a different place now, too. I mean, the U.S., right, we were what? One of the centers of the Industrial Revolution that helped things. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't. It's still, either way, it's arbitrary to just make a tariff. But all right. All right, Jorge. Wait, you're talking to me to grow a pair? So about what? I didn't tell you where I was at, though. As we're about to do the news here, then you got a man drinking some tea. Tell me, do you know how old I am, Jorge? Señor, por, por favor, dime how old I am. So yesterday we were in Chicago. If you follow me on social media, you saw we were, and I probably should add a picture. We went to the Starbucks Reserve Roastery here in Chicago, and we went to Trump. My kids wanted to go in there because it's the big fancy building. We found the 14th floor, which is like the grand ballroom. Nothing was going on. We found a piano, so my daughter was playing this really nice grand piano, and I enjoyed that. I won't share it for you people because nobody wants to see that. But yeah, we Dennis, you make me laugh, man. We yeah, it's kind of like Clear Secure. The price is falling through the floor with Caleb Williams. Yeah, so we were in Trump. The Trump, it was okay. I don't know. And then we left and we survived. Man, you're pretty close. I am 46. I had to think, yeah. April 20th, 1978, whatever that makes me. Good one, Pat. Okay, here we go. So we will. Oh, you got to sell Nexstar already and allocate correctly. Well, truth be told, man, it's my number one holding of an individual stock, right? So we have our 401k through the work. I have some savings accounts. We have 529 funds for the kids. That's combined in the six figures. So we have a lot of money that I don't, things I just don't talk about on the channel just because I don't know, I'm not comfortable to yet. And my wife has had some issues. She gets a little funny. She doesn't want to make our entire net worth and like everywhere we have money known. And I understand it. So, yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, Nexstar is, I don't know, maybe it's not even 2% or 3% of everything. So, but yeah. All right, we got a lot of. Well, it's not bad. Why is it bad, dude? It's still a cash flowing machine. I don't know if you're familiar with the company, but um, it's not just a broadcast. Like they have deals with all the networks. They have deals with uh, you know what, man? They're trying to become kind of like Fox was with live sports. You got to start somewhere. I think ESPN started with tractor pulls or something like that. But yeah, they got the CW for pennies on the dollar. They're getting closer and closer to having it be profitable and cash flowing. I mean, you got ATSC 3.0 that they're going to start lobbying, and with Trump and the Republicans being more favorable now to not having as, how can you put it kindly, I don't know, aggressive SEC, right? Lena Khan with all of her. So they are going to try and have the cap restrictions just removed, so they can own more stations in markets because they are right now are limited on what they can buy. I think they can only have two stations in a market. So they want to buy more. They can do that. But we, I like them. I just, and I have to check myself because maybe I'm wrong on Nexstar. But hey, that's still cash flowing. Oh, for the, you know what, man? You got to be, I don't know. I'm not going to be like a foul mouthed, sailor or something around here. But I do thank you for your opinion. All right, let's do some news. And yeah, Patel, I usually start at 9 Eastern. I decided to change it up just because I don't know why not. I kind of don't like, so for me, I get done at 9 o'clock and I wanted to be done a little bit earlier at like 8 o'clock. So, okay, now we go on to the news. And after I share this, there was a lot of stuff that went on here from Simply Safe. And here we go. There we are. There. Oh, I need to give you guys more real estate here. There we go. Make that a little bit bigger. So this one was really surprising. If you guys know, come on. There we go. If you guys know, I had been invested in Celanese out of the blue. They acquired a division from DuPont that deals with automotive paints, M&M Materials, I think it was called, not like the candy M&M, but yeah, they paid a lot for that, and I remember thinking that was a little bit of a concern, but now they just completely slashed that dividend by 95% so they can pay off debt. They wanna reduce their debt, and then they say that they're going to bring it back, but we'll see. That one was a surprise, and you can see that Simply Safe, it's just a tool, it's their opinion. They had a 70 safe score and they cut. Things like this will happen. But yeah, you never know. Exactly. Keeps us on our toes. Emerson Electric, ticker EMR. And here we go. This is token. Nudge that dividend 0.5% higher. Come on. That's just token, but that's what you get from some of these. I think they're a dividend aristocrat or king. Yeah, duh. Right there. All I had to do is read 68 consecutive. So that's why you got to be careful if you're buying some of these when they're already such big mature companies. You're going to get a 0.5% dividend increase. Main Street Capital, though, they pay monthly. This is one of our holdings, 2% dividend raise, and they're doing a special dividend of 30 cents per share. Another supplemental. They keep hitting us with these supplemental dividends. For those of you up there in Canada, their largest telecom, BCE, they are going to slow their debt reduction efforts, which is putting pressure on the dividend. So, yeah, 10% dividend yield. Not one I would invest in, but hey, that's me. Dividend upgrade from 60 to 70, safe for Arrow Regional Bank, Arrow Financial, ticker AROW, which is one I've never looked into, which they do show looks reasonably valued right down there. Valero dividend upgrade from 50 to 60. I'm going to go faster here. We got so many of them. I love this, though. Investors need a strong stomach to hold petroleum refiners like Valero over a full economic cycle. But if you have, they're doing very well right now. They look overvalued. So ADP next, ticker ADP, raised their dividend 10%. And I think they did just become brand new dividend king. I would have made a special thing for them. So congratulations, ADP. There's a new dividend king, and that's a healthy dividend raise. They do raise that pretty quick. Roper, ticker ROP. I think they are also, I think they might be a dividend king as well. Raise their dividend 10%. Let me see. Roper is now 31 years of dividend growth. But Roper raised that dividend 10%. So that's, Jesus Christ. Can you see, people? Look at what a blind spot. Delivering 32nd consecutive annual increase. Could it be any bigger for me to read? ADM, there we go. They got a dividend downgrade. We talked a little bit about them and their financial shenanigans going on. I would stay away. Not for me. Not for me. Even though I did invest in them once upon a time and I got out. Atmos, ticker ATO, gas utility, raised that dividend 8.1%, which is their 41st consecutive annual increase. Yeesh. BDX, Becton Dickinson. So this company used to be run by Laxman Narasimhan, the CEO that just or the former CEO of Starbucks, the one that just exited. So their dividend, I don't know if I can call them a king because they're from the UK, I believe. But that's Becton Dickinson, right? Yeah. Becton Dickinson Company. I think they're from the UK. Let me see where they're headquartered. Where's it about? Here it is about. Oh, belay my last, everybody. They are headquartered in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. I must be thinking of something else. So that was some fake news right there. Don't believe it. Evergy, ticker EVRG, raised the dividend 3.9%. That's their 20th. AEP, they refreshed their outlook. So that's just, they give a write-up on them. So they refresh that to make sure they're all up to date. A couple more here. EOG, ticker EOG. I think some of you have asked about this 7% dividend raise. TC Energy is spinning off. I don't know much about this. I didn't read it, but they're spinning off South Bow. And they say when you see income investors expect to be kept whole, what that means is where you're getting this reduction here from 96 cents to 82 cents, that difference, that is at least going to be paid by the spinoff that shareholders will receive. So when you put the two together, it'll be you'll be whole. You'll be receiving the same amount. All right, Snap on 15% dividend raise. I think we're almost done here. So that's one we missed. 15%, 15th straight year of dividend raises. Good old Snap on 90. Look at that dividend score of 99. Very safe. And I cannot believe they're at $360 a share. Good Lord. I was buying them in the 210 to 20 range, and I wanted to buy more under 200. Shows what I know. Oh, there we go. And then Southbow, which was, we talked about, spun off from TC Energy, initiates a dividend of, I don't see what it is. Anyway, so they initiated a dividend. And lastly, they refreshed their outlook on Amgen. And just for fun, with that main raise, oh yeah, MLPX, I get an extra 38 cents. I like how Simply Safe does this. So when Maine raised that dividend, my down here at the bottom, my annual income increased $9. Can't highlight it. $9. And I'll also receive $45 from the special dividend. So Maine has been hitting us with, here we go. Lots of special dividends. I'll just show you that. Boom, look at that. December, March, June, September, December. So quite a bit. And that's the news. And my God, that was a lot. Kevin, you do the news too, right? Go TSLL. What's TSLL? I don't mean that. How do you know I'm wrong on Nexstar? I mean, so far, I've lost no money. My cost basis keeps coming down, especially with some of the options I've sold. But, just because the market, just because a stock goes up right away doesn't mean you're right. And just because it goes down doesn't mean you're wrong. I mean, it could take a long time, but well, that's more, you know what? And then with EPD in a retirement account, yeah, I mean, I could, man, but I don't know. People could be wrong on Bitcoin too. People could be wrong on SCHD. I don't know. I mean, but I do have SCHD, man. I've got 500 shares of SCHD. So it's not a small position. That's in the retirement account. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. Time will tell if I'm very wrong on Nexstar. It does make me second guess though, because you watch everything else go up. So yeah, I think the Florida vote and then interest rates, right? Going back, not interest rates, the yields, the treasury yields were going back up. So that's pushing the REIT spaces down, right? Yeah, and then it was like a double whammy. I think you're right. So that was just Florida, but there you go. That's what we were talking about. Nowhere in my opinion, nowhere do I see that the federal government has power to regulate any drug. And I know people will say like they use the interstate commerce clause, but if marijuana is grown in Florida and only sold in Florida, interstate or intrastate, if it's only sold, if it's born, raised, and consumed intrastate, I don't understand where the federal government has authority to tell a state what it can and can't do. Now, if you're moving it across state borders, okay, then maybe they can use the whole interstate commerce clause. But that's an interesting one. You know what? I could consider adding them anyway because, one of my big positions is Harrow, ticker HROW, the ophthalmologic company. They don't pay a dividend, and I don't know if they ever will, but they looked very compelling to me. So, all right, John wanted to look at Triple N. Jay wants Lyondell Basel. Let me get, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they would ever go out, but, or go under. Just now we have another instance of what they delayed the webcast or something. I mean, more financial shenanigans. Hey, Hans. Yeah, it does. And it's funny. it's so much easier to say things in just to say them, but when you're actually experiencing it in real time, where like I was talking about it with Ryan with Clear Secure. Warren has always said you should be doing backflips if you buy a stock and it drops by 50% the next day, because then you can get so much more of a great company, or at least what you think is a great company. But it's, and then you go through it and you're like, whoa, and that's a 50%, he said, but we see something drop 15%, 10%. Clear Secure is down 25%. Oh, that's right, Michael. EOG, I think that stands for Enron Oil and Gas, right? I have looked at the financials. I mean, what are you looking at? The debt? Like, I tell me what about the financials? I mean, is it just you think the debt and the lower interest coverage ratio? Because I don't know, man. I They're buying back shares like gangbusters. They're essentially taking the company private, cash flowing machine. I mean, we can look at the numbers if you want, but tell me what I'm missing, man. Be a little bit more specific. So, hey, Jason, what's up, man? We haven't chatted before. Thank you for swinging on by. Well, George, or Jorge, George, I don't know. I mean, so far I haven't lost any money, and I think my cost basis after this, put it this way, if this covered call expires worthless and I don't buy it back, I believe my cost basis will be closer to $130 a share. The amount of cash flow they have, there it reaches a point where even if they just maintain, and with the shares they buy back, the dividends they pay out, I don't see how it's such a horrible stock, you know. All right, good. Here we go. So we wanted Lyondell Basel, and why did I sell Altria? Well, I mean, I guess you could think that Nextstar's it's a melting ice cube, but for one, I don't know of people that have their health adversely affected by Nextstar Media Group. I think we're always going to want local news. I don't think people are ever going to want just a national. Now, actually, I think you're wrong, man. I think you're wrong. I feel that I'm not being emotional about this because people get cancer and die. I think there's somebody that's harmed in the value chain or with an Altria. Uh, it's clear that if you look from 1980 all the way to today, it's a very steep decline in the amount of combustible cigarette smokers, and I don't know if vaping and the nicotine pouch is going to fill the gap. So it was our choice. We didn't want to own it. We've lost people from lung cancer, and that's, if anybody wants to smoke, have at it. Anybody wants to buy that, but with Nextstar, dude, we don't even know. You don't know what ATSC 3.0 can become. It's not tension. I'm explaining. You don't know what ATSC 3.0 can become. You don't know what the spectrum can become. You don't know what CW can become. On top of that, they're still expanding and growing their reach. And the cash flow, has cash flow started declining? No, it hasn't. Revenue keeps growing and their cash flow is still pretty. I wish they had a little more debt. I'd like to see them pay down debt a little bit faster, but their EBITDA to net debt is starting to come down. They want to get it to in the high twos, like it's right around 2 to 3 turns. But anyway, so let's look at those for you guys. So thanks. I love it, man. I love the pushback. Believe me, you won't get any argument from me around here about that. So let's look at for John, he wanted to look. I got to share this. All right. So you wanted to see Triple N REIT. And I don't know if I asked if they were overexposed. I think that was one of the things I didn't like, that they were overexposed to movie theaters. But anyway, sorry. We can't read that fast. Dividend yield of 5.4%, safety score of 80 safe. Now, I know this is a popular REIT. And by the way, you see that dividend taxation non qualified. Remember, and it's a friendly reminder with REITs that they are not taxed. So a lot of people don't like dividends because they say they're taxed twice, right? At the corporate level, and then we pay taxes on the dividends we receive. But with REITs, they're not qualified because it's a pass-through entity. As long as they pay out 90% of their earnings as a dividend, then they don't pay corporate taxes. We pay the corporate taxes, is how I understand it. So they get to maintain that REIT status. So it's kind of an interesting wrinkle that they're kind of taxed once. It's a bigger tax that we pay, unless you hold them in a retirement account like a Roth. But here you go, John. I don't. So they do have different notes throughout the years on Triple N. But yeah, slow dividend growth, kind of like a lot of the others. You know, come on, there we go. So slow dividend growth, 3% 20-year CAGR. I don't remember if they pay. No, they're every quarter. FMAN, FMAN, 232 per share. Yeah, it looks like they could be undervalued or toward the lower end of reasonably valued, according to Simply Safe. Honestly, I would need to know more about their tenant base. And I just off the top of my head, I don't. But as far as AFFO payout ratio, it's really low. They have no problem paying the dividend. And let me see how they're, little step back in 20, but that's understandable with the black swan. And still growing sales. Yeah, not that much dilution. That's kind of interesting. So realty income, to make some more investments, that's a pretty big jump in shares outstanding. But yeah, it looks good. And I know they're one of the more popular REITs, but John, I don't know. I would honestly have to, just from the numbers, I don't really see anything that's not even crazy. They look okay just on their just on these numbers, but I would need to know more about their tenant base. So as according to them, if anybody has any extra color. And then LyondellBasell, this one I had gotten out of. They went bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy, I think in 2011. And they're down to 85. I sold in the low 90s, but very cyclical business. And let's see. Yeah, they've been growing the dividend nicely, though. They raised it 7% this past May, growing it 11 years since they come out of bankruptcy. Yeah, so I think a lot of people might be chasing yield on this one. Possibly. Wait, what did they say? Sorry if I'm going too fast. Says they're maybe undervalued. So if you believe in them, if you think that they're going to pull back up into that shaded area, could reach 93 to 114 is what they're saying. So could have some upside room. Yeah, it's almost at a 52-week low as well. But yeah, these are the things that bother me when you see that free cash flow payout ratio run up to 96%, and then it dropped, and now we're at 106%. It comes down, but that stuff bothers me. I don't like that. And it's the wild swings, right? This is what you get with them. So you got to hope that it's going to jump back up. And it's just, I don't know. It didn't. A lot of negative sales growth, then big up, then big down. It's too much of a roller coaster for me with LyondellBasell. They slowed down the share buybacks. Total sales, you want to see more of that stair step up and to the right, and it's just up and down and up and down. So just very cyclical. So as long as that's what you're getting, you might want to buy it when it's at the bottom of one of the cycles. Yeah, it's funny. Their margins go up and then down, then up. I don't know. Their margins are compressed right now. Probably why the share price is falling. Maybe that's what the market's seeing. I haven't studied them that closely. And their net debt has come down. That was a little high there in 2020. 1920. My God, they're old. It's not bad. Just a very cyclical company, And then, George, if you're still watching, because for my own self-indulgence here, just off the numbers. But the numbers don't tell the full story, right? That's the way I look at it. So there you go, 60, borderline safe dividend score for Nexstar. And Yeah, the market doesn't like it. Doesn't mean it's wrong. There you go. I have 115 shares, and this is not total return. So I'm 158, but that's not factored in all the dividends and options I've sold on it. So I'm currently up, 4 points. I was up a whole heck of a lot more, what, 3, 4 days ago? But yeah, look at the dividend growth, man. I mean, it's just they raise it almost 20% every year. It's really stout raising that. They return a lot of cash to shareholders. I mean, a 27% 10-year CAGR, 29% 5-year, 25% last raise in January. So they're getting ready to raise it again here in a few months. And yeah, they're toward the lower end of the reasonable valuation. But some of the numbers are good, and I'll grant you that until you get to the debt. And that is one thing that does worry me. I'd like to see the debt a little bit lower. Clear Secure has no debt, no net debt. They mentioned that in their earnings. Um, yeah, but the free cash flow payout ratio, 24%, really low. And yes, it's a little bit elevated from where it historically is. Uh, it's such a, I mean, look at that. Next 12 month expected $28 of free cash flow per share. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know, sales growth negative. I don't know. I mean, they're just buying back shares. This jump up here was when they bought Tribune Media, which really helped grow the sales because you see, as soon as they bought that, sales started going up. But yeah, down to 33 million shares outstanding. So it's almost like they're essentially taking the company private. I mean, high return on equity, really, not really good, but okay return on invested capital. It'd be nice to see that over 15%. Just a lot of free cash flow. I mean, net, yeah, net debt's a little high, and they're trying to get. That's what I was talking about. The net debt to EBITDA. They're trying to get that down to just under 3, and it's currently at 3.64. And then the interest coverage ratio. Not a big fan of that. I'd like to see it a lot higher. So I don't know, man. We'll just, I guess you're right. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and just decide to sell, I guess. But hey, maybe you can, don't worry. I'm not getting like a next star tattoo or anything just yet. But, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it, right? Yeah, I guess, man. And if I am, then I'll say you were right, But well, and then that's the thing too, John. I think a lot of people misunderstand Nexstar. I don't want this to be the Nexstar hour, but they are responding. They're not just in broadcast. They have deals with a lot of the major companies. They try to create content to help local businesses sell things. I mean, it just sounds like a good business to me. And I don't know. I think everyone thinks they're dead and dying, but we'll see. I don't, you know what? Don't. I don't mind it. I honestly, I love the pushback. I love to makes me think, but I mean, just a little more substance. When you suddenly look at the financials, yes, I have. So give me a little bit more specific. I mean, we can email russ@dapperdividends.com if you want to email me about it. I'd love to know if I'm missing something. I'd love to know that. So, Triple N, much lower quality than agree. Oh, I agree on that. And I just think agrees. I love listening to Joey agree. It's kind of funny to hear him rip on Walgreens, how they started selling out. But, Triple N, that's what I would look at, John. If you're considering them, I'm sure they have a really nice investor presentation, can show you the exposure that they have. Well, I don't want to fumble around and look for it, but hey, maybe that's a good idea for a video. Maybe I'll do that sometime. So it wasn't no attacks, man. Yeah, people, it's, you know what? It's sometimes it can be hard to say on. So my wife goes through this. My wife sometimes texts things. I don't really pick up on it, but sometimes she texts and says, I'd rather talk to people in person so they could hear my voice and hear inflection and tonality and things like that. But yeah, when you guys are tapping, typing, whatever. Yeah, that's you know what they say about opinions, man. Everyone has them, and some of them stink. I do have a nut VSAC. How did you know? Who told you, man? But that's fun, man. I love it. I love it. Well, you know what, man? All right, we'll see what's up with that, and yeah, I won't put that on, man. But God bless you. Godspeed. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I will say this too. It would be nice. So I do like that they are founder led, and like I said, man, they got Mike Baird, who's their uh, COO. He came over from Fox. He was at Fox for a long time, and he said that's one of the things that really interests him about Nexstar is trying to make it uh, into something, or I should say the CW. He was talking about the CW, but his expertise was at Fox. Is that you got news? They have. I didn't even mention News Nation, man. Like News Nation is one of the fastest independent growing news networks. Uh, I don't know, man. It's not just all the dividend is nice. Sure, that's what attracted me. But, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm like the fish. Maybe I thought I wasn't biting the hook, line, and sinker. Maybe I did. But I don't know, man. You said the financials stink. And I don't know. Maybe give me a little more substance than just that, like something specific. That's what I'd like to see because I can go on specifics. But if it's just a dead industry and yeah, anyway, we beat this. We beat this enough. But uh, what did we miss? I feel like we missed something as we're landing the plane here. What are you guys going to buy this week? Anybody going to be buying Clear Secure? What do you think of Clear Secure, Mister George? Is that one that you'd, you'd get onto or no? I don't know. Where are you guys at? Where is everybody? Ah, there we go with Aries Capital. That's another big position of ours. So here, let's look at. I don't know. I'll show you guys what I bought this week. Why don't we do that? Honestly, dude, the safety scores are just an opinion. It's a third party opinion. It's not fact. It's not gospel. It's not sacrosanct, which is why you have to go beyond the third party opinions. Now, this is an opinion that I would definitely agree with. Yes, terrible right now. We won't get into football talk, even though I could. Yeah, gross. Gross is the way to talk about that. But as far as what I bought here, we'll just do that. It's the easiest way to just run through the newsletter here. There you go. Yeah, so I sold more of the SWVXX, winding that down. Gotten a few dividends from it. It's a little holding position. I was hoping we'd see a market drop, but no such luck. Bought 2 shares of Nike at $76. Buying more of that. 10 shares of Vici Properties at 31. 2 more VTI at 282. And there we go. We fired up the old Realty Income engine, buying that again at $56.35. And then, yeah, we'll see, man, how much of what we share. Here we go. Yeah, percent of portfolio. Well, I guess at least I put my money where oh, for Christ's sake. At least put my money where my mouth is, right, man? I'm not just in it with one share. So yeah, Nexstar's 10.5% of what we share. But this is deceiving the 4.7% because I guess I could pull this up. Let me find this. I can share my adjusted. I haven't adjusted it for. Here we go. I want to show you guys this. So blow it up. This is a little thing I made. Oh, I thought so. Call me a liar, man. I said closer to 130. I guess that was wrong. I was not with Nexstar. So as of 322, I have not factored in any dividends or options from since the 22nd of May, March. That's the third month. But yeah, currently $152 is my adjusted. All I did was I've taken the dividends received, all the option income, which back in March was $11.38 per share. So just with that one, I mean, just with the contract here was $4.50 per share. But yeah, this I've done this for a few with these with the adjusteds, but yeah, fun little thing to do. So yeah, who cares, man? Like, I don't know. Then you don't pay for it. Let me pay for it. I can share it to everybody. It's nice to get an opinion, right? But I'm just saying, I don't take it for as gospel. I like it. I like the platform. So is Ryan? I didn't even know. Is Ryan still in Kilroy? Let me know about that. How do you know, man? I've been investing individually since 2018, probably just a little bit longer than Mr. Williams. So age can be deceiving, you know. But yeah, I get it, man. If you want ruffle fat, I don't care. It's cool. It's cool with me. Dresh, that's a good one. Hershey dip. Not the dip. I don't know. Is there a Hershey dip? But yeah, that's one I've didn't look into, but I did listen while I was working to the Dividend Talk podcast. Highly recommend you guys listen to good old European dividend growth investor and engineer my freedom, Derek, and I won't give away EDGI's name. But yeah, they talked about Hershey and said that they're facing headwinds, obviously, duh, but the dividend is fine right now. And it's an iconic brand sometimes. But yeah, they said they started off the newsletter talking about we believe in the resilience of our brands. And when you read that, it's kind of like in, my other book too, Quality of Earnings. He talks about the shareholder letter and looking at what they're saying and kind of deciphering some of the things that the CEOs are saying. But this book, bought it. I'm going to try and get my kids to read it. Sorry, Dresh. Focus, please. There we go. From Brian Feraldi, Why Does the Stock Market Go Up? Written very, very basic. If you know nothing about stocks, it's great for kids. Told my daughters, like, we're going to read this, or I want you to read it, and just got the, I don't know. I try to get them interested, but, you know, not for everybody. I did feel better when Mike, the dividend guy, in his podcast said his wife has no interest whatsoever in investing or stocks or anything like that. So one more here from Michael. Michael, he wants to start a new position in triple QM. Wait for a pullback or just go ahead, and that one, I would look at the chart on that, man. With maybe I can do this real quick for you. I don't know if I can do a little bit of technical analysis as I set this up. I'll start sharing this screen for you so you can see what I do here. It'll be a little more interesting than you watching me just type. All right, I'll look at triple QM, man, and see if I can do a little live without a net technical analysis for you. And this is on stockcharts.com. Close that. All right, here we go. So QQQM, I need to set up a couple things here. Well, this looks a little different than my. Now, this is going to look like Greek to you. Commodity channel index indicator below. And then we leave the MACD and then put on the RSI. Oh, wrong one. What did I click? CCI, MACD. There we go. RSI. Are you not working with me? Oh, up there. Okay. We'll do RSI there. And then just leave those moving averages for brevity's sake. And I want price labels. All right, let me update that for you. Sorry, I'm used to using this on my phone. So, oh man, this is looking Greek to me because it's not. I don't like these candlesticks. Sorry. I know, thrilling, right? I just backed out of it. You know what? Oh, here we go. I want the candlesticks. Candlesticks, RSI. Now we'll see if it'll. All right, I can read that a little more. And I think I'm on the daily. So, yeah, it's all-time high. So it's kind of a blue sky breakout, meaning its last resistance was around 206 here. I know this is going to be really hard to see on the screen, but one of the things I like here is the CCI indicator, and I look at that to see if it's a pullback likely. So, man, honestly, if it got to around, so the 200 moving average is what? Sorry, I don't want to back up. The 200 is the red line, 189. Dude, if you're going to be in it for a long time, I might just buy it. But if you wanted to try and wait for a pullback, I think a pullback is likely to happen to around 205 because I see there's some support. There's some support right here around 205. So I could see it getting back to 205. Maybe want to get in there, but that did not go according to plan, man. I usually look at it on my phone. It looked a lot different on the desktop. So all right, well, that was a fun one. So Skynet not taking over yet, and we'll see, man. We'll see. But George, if you want to give it time, all right. So talking technicals as a long-term investor and owning Nexstar as your number one respect, that's American right there. So, dude, you don't believe in technicals? You don't think that there's potentially a time to buy a better if something is moved way the hell up really quick and it's way above every moving average? You don't think there's any possibility that it might pull back? And yeah, I mean, I've said that if you're going to buy something and you want to hold it like a Nexstar for 5 years, it's probably good just to buy it right there. And but you can look at the charts, right? It's the language of the market. There is a possibility, and sometimes that it's going to pull back to certain support levels. But I don't know if that doesn't float your boat either. I'm sorry, dude. Like we could just make it the SCHD hour, I suppose, right? But yeah, it can tell you what is likely to happen, right? Reading the chart, technicals is not a guarantee. It's more of an art than a science. But yeah, I've said before, if something's at an all-time high, like QQQM is, there's a good reason that it's at an all-time high or it's doing well. So I don't know, man. I guess I've only held it for what, 2 years now? It's my number one position and I've held it for 2 years. So anyway, I'll give you a minute. Still waiting for the financials part that you said the financials are no good. I mean, other than you saying declining sales, but yeah, that's a fun one though. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know when my first buy is, but it was, I believe, 2022. So, hey, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Not the Cállate, Jorge. Amigo mío, Mr. Ortiz's shield. Is that okay? Can I do a little bit of Mexican American inflection? Is that not okay either? Hey, I grew up with a lot of Mexicans though. Grew up in Berwyn, Illinois, right on the border of Cicero. But yeah. Anyway. All right, so we'll end it there. Maybe I'll when is the time? Tell me, when's the time? You said it's already time, so I'll still wait, man. Hit me out. Shoot me an email, russ@dapperdividends.com. Send me some of the financials. I'd love to see. I'd love to know what I'm missing because from what I can tell, it's not as bad as you say. Dude, buying back shares, right? It's going to be less shares to spread. So even if their earnings remain steady and they keep buying back shares, wouldn't that just mean that there's going to be fewer earnings to spread over, or more earnings to spread over fewer shares? So wouldn't every share have to be worth more? I mean, nah, nobody buy Nexstar just because of that. I don't care. And I don't know, link to channels. It doesn't matter. I don't think about it like that. If with Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, man, yeah, I was wrong about where I held EPD, but that was an oversight. But I don't know, man. I've spent 2 years with Nexstar and listening to every earnings call, reading the annual reports, and that's the big knock, right? That's the big knock, is everyone says that the industry is dying. But I guess I understand it and I see it a little bit differently, man. So hey. Oh, and by the way, happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there, everyone who's served. We really do appreciate your service. Thank you. I know tomorrow is Veterans Day, and yeah, go get a deal or something if you served. If you're a veteran, maybe you get a free haircut or something like that. But seriously, that's huge. And to, even if you didn't make that ultimate sacrifice, we really don't like to see that. But um yeah, thank you so very much for everyone that served. And uh check out my friend Lisa's channel too. And these divs will leave it with you, and I do appreciate that. And Nexstar is part of my journey. If I'm wrong, I'm not going anywhere. You'll hear me say it. I'll do a post mortem, and I'll tell you what I was wrong about, if anything. So, veterans won't invest in a heavily left leaning company like Nexstar. How are they left leaning? First of all, I want to tell me, how are they left leaning? Don't they have News Nation? Don't they tout it as being neither right nor left? That's the big selling point. So, how are they left leaning? And plus, veterans won't invest. Well, I've invested in Nexstar. So what is that? Is that I'd like to know about that. George, you might just be wrong on that one. I'm gonna say I proved you wrong because I invested in Nexstar. Let's stay on for a minute longer here. Hans, where did you serve, and where were you? What was your rate, your rank, your mate? You see that? Sam popped on, and the first word that came and popped out of my head was mate, because Sam is down in Australia, down there. Or no, you're in Australia, Sam, right? Yeah. I wanted to say New Zealand, so you're not a Kiwi, if I remember right. You're in Australia, you're an Aussie. Still waiting, George. Yeah, I'm working tomorrow too. Veterans working tomorrow. Should be a federal mandate. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I guess. I could see it. I know there's a few parades and things going on, but a lot of deals, a lot of Veteran Day deals going on. So it's not a reason to that's not why we did it or anything, or we look forward to it. But Hans, I want to point that out, man. Thank you. Army E7. Look at that, dude. E7. I don't know what that was in the Army, but in the Navy, that is chief. Chief Petty Officer was E7. I forgot. It's a long time, right? It's a long time since basic, so I've forgotten some of those things. But yeah, Korea, Germany, Hawaii. I don't know what that MANU, man. U.S. sites. All right, Sam. You're originally from. Okay, I knew there was something Kiwi related there. That's not a slur, is it, or a slur? Derogatory. That's what I'm looking for, right? Like because I'm Polish, and apparently, when you call people that are Polish Polacks, that's a slur. Kind of like when. Well, here you go, George. Things you probably aren't supposed to say, but when I was a kid, now they call wife beaters, right? I only knew of that shirt as a Dago tee. I had no idea that that was a derogatory word. No idea. I just remember hearing everyone calling it a Dago tee. Oh man, You never told me about the financials specifically. I'll be looking forward to it. But yeah, I don't know. I hope to get better. That's something I aim for. Every day I aim to be at least 1% better than I was yesterday because after a long while, man, you come a mile. So that's what I do. But thank you. Thank you so very much for tuning in, and I'll look forward to seeing you again, dude. So anyway, yeah, once again, all right, I'm I'm gonna get out of here. I do appreciate you. So yeah, thank you all the veterans. And hey, again, kid of the 80s. You guys know who I go out with. So rest in peace. 'Cause someday we'll nah, just rest in peace, Pee Wee. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so very much for stopping on by.